Hello and welcome. Today I'm offering an introduction to Metta called Learning to Befriend Ourselves and Others. How many of us find it easier to be kind to a friend who's struggling than to ourselves when we're struggling? I expect that many people will likely relate. In Buddhist practice, Metta is often translated as loving kindness. It's the intention to meet ourselves and others with friendliness, goodwill, and care. It isn't sentimental. It isn't pretending everything is wonderful. It's the simple wish, may you be well, may you be safe, may you live with ease. What Metta is and is not. Metta is not a feeling that we force ourselves to have. It's an attitude that we cultivate. Think of planting a garden. We can't pull on a flower to make it grow faster, but we can create conditions that support growth. Metta practice creates the conditions for kindness, patience, and connection to grow naturally. Metta is not romantic love. Romantic love is usually based on attraction, preference, or emotional attachment. Metta is broader and more universal. It is a sincere wish for well-being, whether or not we feel emotionally close to someone. Metta is not approval of everything people do. We can care about someone and still recognize that their actions are harmful or unwise. Metta does not mean pretending harmful behavior is okay. It means not adding hatred or ill will to the situation. Metta is not becoming a doormat. Loving kindness includes self-respect and healthy boundaries. We can say no to protect ourselves or step away from harmful situations and relationships while still holding an intention of goodwill rather than that of revenge or bitterness. Metta means relating to ourselves and others with basic goodwill, even when it's difficult. As an example, imagine the sun. The sun shines on flowers, weeds, and rocks without picking favorites. Metta invites us to develop a heart that is more inclusive in this way. So why practice Metta? Well, for one, many of us carry an inner critic that speaks harshly to us. We replay mistakes, judge ourselves, and sometimes hold ourselves to impossible standards. For example, imagine making a small mistake at work or saying something awkward in a conversation. A friend might forget about it in 5 minutes or less, but we often replay it in our minds for hours or even days. The inner critic says things like, "Why did I say that?" or "I always mess things up." Metta practice begins to interrupt that habit. Instead of attacking ourselves, we learn to respond with the same kindness we would naturally offer someone we care about. Metta offers another possibility. It teaches us to respond to difficulty with kindness rather than self-attack. Metta practice also teaches us to be less reactive and to show greater patience. Metta practice also helps us to be more at ease in relationships and to develop more resilience to stress. When we're caught in traffic, dealing with a difficult coworker, or facing illness, Metta doesn't remove the challenge, but it changes how we meet the challenge. As an example, imagine you're caring for an aging parent or supporting someone who's ill. Without Metta, we can become overwhelmed, resentful, or emotionally exhausted. With Metta, the situation may still be difficult, but we remember to include ourselves in the circle of care. We pause, breathe, and recognize this is hard, and I can meet this moment with kindness. Or imagine receiving criticism from a coworker or a family member. Our first reaction might be defensiveness or anger. Metta doesn't mean we automatically agree with the criticism, but it can help to create a small space before we react. So instead of immediately striking back, we may respond with more steadiness and less hostility. Another example is when we fail at something important to us. Many people respond to failure with shame or self-punishment. Metta changes the tone of that inner conversation. Instead of, I'm hopeless, we begin to say, when I talk to myself in this way, it hurts. However, failure is part of being human and it's okay to make mistakes. I can learn from these experiences without attacking and harming myself. Sometimes people worry that kindness will make them passive. In fact, Metta can be very strong. A good parent can love a child while setting firm limits. In the same way, Metta includes compassion, wisdom, and healthy boundaries. We can say no with kindness. We can disagree with kindness. And we can protect ourselves with kindness. A few more examples. Sometimes we think being kind means never upsetting anyone. But Metta does not mean avoiding difficult conversations. A doctor can deliver hard news with honesty and compassion. A parent can set limits with love. Kindness and firmness can exist together. Imagine someone repeatedly speaking to you disrespectfully. Metta does not require you to silently accept harmful behavior. You might calmly say, I'm willing to talk, but not in a way that's hurtful. That is kindness with boundaries. Many people think anger is strength and kindness is softness. But often the opposite is true. It can take tremendous strength to remain grounded and compassionate instead of reacting with blame or revenge. Think about someone who is drowning emotionally in stress or grief. Telling them to just get over it may sound tough, but it usually closes the heart. Meeting them with patience and presence is often the more courageous response. Metta also does not mean we have to like everyone. There are people we may never really feel close to. The practice is simply to recognize that, like us, they also want happiness and struggle with suffering. A first responder entering a dangerous situation to help others is actively showing compassion, which often gives people the courage to act clearly and selflessly in difficult moments. Sometimes, the strongest thing we can do is to pause before reacting. When someone insults us, the automatic impulse may be to lash out verbally or even physically. Metta helps us respond intentionally rather than impulsively. That restraint is a form of strength and compassion. Healthy boundaries are also an expression of metta, not the opposite of it. Saying no to exhaustion, manipulation, or harm can be a deeply kind act toward ourselves and others. So in closing, metta grows through repetition, not perfection. We don't practice because we already feel loving kindness toward everyone. We practice because we want to strengthen the capacity for loving kindness that already exists within us. Even a few moments each day of sincerely wishing well-being for ourselves and others can begin to change how we move through the world. Think of starting with a pet, or a good friend, or a family member. Or, while embracing an opportunity of spending time in a more natural setting, or enjoying time while pursuing an activity or hobby, or simply to be thankful for space and time to be creative. As the traditional phrase says, may all things be happy, may all beings be free from suffering. I'd like to thank you all for taking the time to listen. Have a great day.